Hi folks, Morpheus here with you with another ZBrush modeling tutorial. In this video we're going to create low poly modular pieces that share the same tiling texture and export them directly to Unreal Engine 4. I will go through setting ZBrush grid, mesh size and export scale, and then using ZModeler and transpose tool to model the pieces, unwrap using UV master, assign polygroups for material IDs, and export to Unreal Engine, where we will assign textures whether imported from Substance Painter, Google Mixer, or pre-existing texture, easily arrange them or the pieces, snapping them to Unreal Engine grid. I did the same process in Maya before, and to be honest it's quicker and more efficient and fun to do in ZBrush. We won't cover collisions and light maps in this video, but I will do that in a separate video for those who use Unreal Engine 4. So without further ado, let's jump to ZBrush and get started. Okay, so here we are in ZBrush. We'll start by dropping Polymesh 3D on the canvas. Hit T to go to edit mode, and then initialize, change resolution to 1 by 1 by 1, and create a Qcube. Okay, so as you can see, the grid is a bit huge, so we need to go to either deformation, unify, or you could just go to the geometry and under size, and you change the size to 2 there, and there you go. Now in order to snap it to the grid, if you press W or go to the move tool, you'll see that the gizmo is in the middle, so you need to hold Alt and click on one of the vertices. So click on this one and then keep holding Alt and click on the reset orientation, and then release Alt and click on the home button and just move the grid, and you can see that it's now snapped there. Okay, then as for the grid, yours might be a bit different, but unless you watch my video or use the create Qcube on a grid macro that's on my ArtStation, you can get it for free. You can go to draw and then change the grid size and tiles. If your box size is 2 by 2 by 2, or if you unify it, then the grid size, the number should be double the tiles. So if the grid size was 10, the tile should be 5. If it was 4, this should be 2, and so on and so forth. And if you do this, you'll be able to have it in the middle of the grid, the box. Next, we'll UV the box. If you go to Z plugin and drag this there, go to UV master, unwrap, and then you go to the toolset palette, go to UV maps, and set the map size. Let's say 2K is fine, and then create UVBT. So it's the fourth option, and this is basically UV box tiles. If you click this, and then now if you go to texture and choose any texture, we'll choose the this one. You can see that it's well tiled. Okay, switch off the texture. Now what we need to do, we need to be able to look inside the box, because the character will be, if you imagine that this is a room, the character will be inside, so you need to see from inside the box. So we need to basically flip the normals. So if you go to display properties, flip, so now you flip the normals and you can see inside the box. In Maya this is called backface column, because I've done this before in Maya and it's way quicker and more fun to do in ZBrush. So basically we need to, from this box we're going to create the individual pieces. So we'll use this box, fuse it, duplicate it and fuse it together or weld it together to create this X-shaped or plus-shaped piece, and then a T-shaped one, L-shaped one, inverted L, and I. Okay. Right, let's create the first piece. So if we go to the top view, go to the move tool, W, and make sure that the gizmo is snapped to one of the angles. Then hold Control and Shift and move up until it's about, it needs to be -2, so it needs to be an integer. Then let go, then again do the same thing, pull it all the way down until it is 4, and then let go of Control and Shift, and again Control Shift and drag it back to where it was until it's -2, and then drag it to the left until it's -2. Let go of Control and Shift and do the same. Control Shift and drag until you go to 4. Okay, and then Control Drag. There we go. That's the first piece. Okay, it looks like it's all kind of jumbled and stuff. That's fine. So we'll duplicate this one. We'll keep this one as the original. Then duplicate. I should have actually duplicated the original box, but that doesn't matter now. In fact, we can still do that now. So let's duplicate this box or this piece, and then go back to the original one, and then undo until we get to the. Sorry, we need to make this invisible. Yeah, until we get to this stage, and that's it. So that'll be our backup block. So just make it invisible. Go back to this one, and now what we need to do is we need to delete these faces just to create the corridor. Okay, so what I would do, go to the Modular brush, BZM, and then highlight one of the faces, and go to, I think it's usually in QMesh, so go to delete, and then just snap it to the front, and then just click a few times, so that's deleted. Turn to the other side, because they're kind of, you need to delete them from both faces. So if you do it from one side, I'm only gonna delete 3 faces because of the back face column. So if you do this now, we've deleted those, we snap it there, a few clicks, that's them deleted, and then we do the same there. Okay, so there we go. That's all the faces. Now what we need to do is we need to weld the points, because now if you press D for dynamic, so if you go to geometry, dynamic subdivisions, and click dynamic, you'll see they're all separate pieces. This is basically like pressing 3 smooth preview in Maya. So if you click Shift D or undo it, and you go to geometry, modify topology, weld points, just drag this up like to maybe 4 weld points, and now if you press D, they're welded. Okay, Shift D to undo that. So that's our first piece. And before we create the next piece, if you go to Polygroups and group by normals, set it to 45 degrees, and then this will give each angled face their own polygroup. Now go back to subtools and make it invisible, duplicate it. Now we'll start working on the next piece. So if you go to the Modular brush, BZM, and highlight one of the faces, and choose delete, and we'll delete the bottom, the top, and this face. So just keep one of the faces, either this one, the right or the left side one. And now again highlight that face, go to Modular, choose mask, and then click on this face, control click on the canvas to invert that. Now go to the move tool or W and just zoom in, and alt click on one of the corners. Basically we're trying to rotate this, and then while holding alt, click on the reset orientation, and then hold shift, and then just rotate it 90 degrees so that you close this opening. Okay, now if you click D for dynamic subdivisions, you'll see that this is not like a separate face. So again, if you go to geometry, weld points, and now it's one piece. So I control drag because it was mass, so now it's all in one piece. Let's go to tools, make it invisible, duplicate it, and we'll work on the next piece, so the L shape. So we'll just do the same thing, highlight one of the faces with the Z modular, go to delete. So we're gonna keep this one, so we'll delete the other faces, this one, and the top one, and we'll do the same thing. So click on mask, control drag to unmask, then mask this one, control click on the canvas, W, it's already centered there, hold shift and rotate 90 degrees, and then go to geometry, modify topology, and weld points, and now they're all weld. So control drag to unmask it, D, that's it. So that's the next one. And lastly, we just go to make it invisible, duplicate, and then we'll work on the last piece. So we're just gonna get rid of, we'll keep this space and delete the rest. So again, hold space, switch to delete, delete this one, and the top one, and highlight the face, switch to mask, and then mask it, control click on the canvas, W for the gizmo, and then alt click on this point and alt click on the reset orientation, and now hold shift and rotate it and 90 degrees, and again go to geometry, modify topology, weld points, and that's the last one. Now obviously it's shut there, so what we're going to do is again we'll switch to the ZBrush, just click Q and highlight the face, delete, and get rid of this face, and that's the next one. Now we'll create the last two pieces. So if we go to subtools and duplicate it actually twice. So one of the first one, let's just make this hidden. First one, we're just gonna delete these faces and the walls on the side. So it's just gonna be the floor and the ceiling, and the next one will just basically delete everything other than one of the walls. Again, just delete the faces manually, just delete all these and just keep one of the walls. Okay, just this one. So now we're gonna go back and name them. So let's call this X block, and but I've just gone ahead and renamed the pieces to be kind of more organized. So X block, T block, L block, I block, floor, and wall. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create polygroups for the floor, the ceiling, and the walls. So I mean, we already have, because the first one had already individual polygroups for the wall and for the floor and the ceiling. We could have actually done that from the beginning, but anyways, so now we just need to kind of create a polygroup for the walls so that we can just easily assign materials to them. So if you go to ZBrush and click Polypaint, and then you just alt click these faces, you can either do this and then polygroup them, or just just click that. So now they're the same polygroup. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing with the rest. So again, just click on these, make sure that you do it to all faces, even if one of them looks yellow, because sometimes it might be just a different polygroup. So this one is already yellow, but if you click on it, it's a different kind of shade of yellow. So make sure that you do it to all faces, and then we'll go to the eye block and do this. So now we have them all polygroup. That the last bit is to kind of center them to the grid. So we'll go to the first one, click W, and then choose one of the points where you want the gizmo to be. So let's say we want it to be there, and then remember, so alt click on one of these vertices, and then I'll click on reset orientation, and then on the home button, so I'll just drag it to, this is basically the 0, 0, 0 position. So you want the gizmo and all of them kind of oriented the same way, otherwise it'll give you troubles in Unreal and it won't snap. So the X block will go to the T block, so let's position it here. So I'll click there, then reset orientation, and then let go of Alt, and then click on the home button. We'll do the next, we'll go to the next one again, Alt tap on maybe this one, and then Alt click on reset orientation, and then let go of Alt and click on home, and you can see it moved there. again the eye block, we'll just put it there. So alt click on the reset position and then let go of alt home. Same thing here. Let's see, let's put it there. Alt click, let go of alt home, it's already there. And this one again we'll do the same thing. So already centered there, we'll just reset the orientation and home, and there we go. So now if we kind of show all of them, they should all be in the same kind of space. Okay, so we're ready now to send this to a Unreal Engine. Now we need to figure out the dimensions. So as you remember, we've set this the units to be 2 by 2 by 2. So basically in real life measurements in games and whatsoever, the character height is usually set to 180, around 180 centimeters. A door would be 214 height wise and around 120 to 140 the width. So we'll set ours to 300 by 300. Okay, so if you remember from the last video, if you go to export, usually the scale is set to 0 by default. So if we want it to be 300, you just basically set it to 300 here. But because we set this as to 2 by 2 by 2, so we need to divide this by 2. If we set it 1 by 1 by 1, yeah, it'll be 300. But because it's already 2 by 2, so we'll set this to 150. Okay, so when you send it to a rail, it's going to be 300. Now we're going to go to Z plugin and FBX exporter. Choose visible, so make sure that all the subtools are visible apart from this box, the initial one, and go to the options. Make sure that you set export polygroups as materials, so that you can, so each polygroup will have you can assign a material in a Unreal Engine to it. Smoothing levels, I mean, doesn't matter, this is we're not using any smoothing here. So then you just export it, make sure that the Maya is up, tries as normal. I think these are the default anyways. So export it, we'll call it modular. I've already done this, so modular tutorial, save. Yes, we'll go now to a Unreal Engine, import, and there it is, modular tutorial, open. Now I'll ask you if you want to set we're not going to set the materials here. So if you go to materials, do not create materials, and then click import. You don't, make sure that you don't create collisions. So I think it asks you if generate missing collisions, to set it to false, because otherwise you won't be able to kind of go through them. So now we'll import them. Let's create a new level. Okay, select it, and then bring these, drag these here. Okay, just take them up a little bit, because otherwise they'll yeah, just slightly above the grid. Remember, they don't have collisions, so if you drop a character there, it'll just fall right away. So I click on the floor, scale it up. Okay, and now let's start playing with these. You could assign materials to them, so if you go to any of them, and you'll see that because we've set the material IDs, so you'll have these here, so you can set the ceiling. So I have materials here from the store, so if you set the ceiling, so that's that, and this one I think is the floor. So if we choose this one, no, this is actually the wall, so let's choose a wall. Could be like anyone would do. Let's choose this one, and then floor, let's choose this one. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing for the rest of them. Okay, so I've gone ahead and created material, or assigned materials to all of the pieces. So now we can just basically spread them apart. So if you as long as you have the grid snapping set to 10 or 5, you should be able to kind of move them about and snap them together. So move this one, hold shift and move, it will move the camera with it. So there we go, this one, and we'll put this one here. Can zoom in and make sure that it's snapping, so as you can see you can easily snap them. Okay, this one, and there we go. So rather than dragging things again, you can just hold Alt and then just move this one, and it'll just copy it. I'll snap easily. And this one you can again hold Alt. If you hold Alt and Shift, it will move the camera as well. And there we go, we have this one. We can then bring a character here, let's see, and drop it here. So now if we click play and then go, you can see that's styling well. I think this is third person and this is first person. Okay, and as you can see, you can actually go through the walls because we haven't created the collisions, but I'll show you that in the next video. Okay, I hope guys you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. In the next video I'll show you how to create the collisions in ZBrush and export them to Unreal, which is a more efficient way than creating them in Unreal, and I'll also show you how to create light maps in Unreal. Thank you for watching again. Bye.